What's up guys, this is Shana and today we are in Sunway Iskandar but just rebranded into Sunway City Iskandar Puteri in Johor Bahru. Today will be the first time right after the lockdown. We are back here in Johor and where else to go but home, and it feels amazing to be back. In first glance, I couldn't recognize the roads. It becomes so well developed, and now I'm standing right in front of Sunway Citrine and there are a lot of people walking around looking at the progress. Right, it gets me really excited. So I'm gonna go look for my ex-colleagues right now and get an overall update. So today will be a township review then. Yeah, or an update. First things first, I've went around all different offices, right, to go kind of say hi to all ex-colleagues, get all the latest updates, and it has been remarkable. Like for the past 5 years, right, we think that the world kind of stopped, but they didn't. We are now right below the office spaces and there are some commercial centers here. But what's surprising, right, I can see a lot of kids because we have the Sunway International School ready, and that's a brand new local Chinese school as well. That's why you can see a lot of kids, and these are all the tuition centers, child development centers, art centers. The entire business has moved beyond utilities and primary needs basis. Now they are moving towards services and appointment basis. You can see like salons, nail places, pilates and all. Wow! And the very last visit I came, Citrine Lake Homes was completed for the first phase only, so there are subsequent phases that they have completed already throughout the past 5 years. But now let's talk a little bit about the entire science of township development. When you come to a huge canvas of 1,800 acres, how do you then activate one big piece of land like that? It needs to start from a precinct that needs to be somewhat self-sustaining. The very first phase is Sunway Citrine that we are standing right now. The primary intent for this entire precinct will be self-sustaining. Hence, this is a mixed development where it consists of office, residence and commercial spaces. Then after that, what about recreational? The team created Emerald Lake, and now that is one of the primary destinations in accordance to Johor Tourism Board. After that, there will be a school where Sunway brought in their own Sunway International School, and immediately they need to plan for an extension because the first phase got packed out rather quickly. Then in order to provide a variation in living lifestyle, blended components starts coming in where you can see the Emerald Lake Homes, and then you can also see Citrine Lake Homes. So that is pretty much a completion of the precinct already. Then when population starts picking up, they built the commercial center right in front. A few rows of them, and we'll check them out during lunchtime later to kind of gauge the crowd a little bit. So for now, let's tour around. Now we are walking along Sunway Emerald Lake, and to my surprise, there are some tables and benches at the side, and people are actually conducting picnic on a Friday morning. That's insane, and a lot of people jog around here. You can see a lot of people breeze walking, cycling, and in accordance to the theme, weekends evening here is packed. So a lot of people actually come here to the fish feeding area, so kids get to interact with the fishes a little bit. At the end or the other corner, so it will be closer to some international school already, then you will hear a little bit more children laughter, children interaction, and the entire mood just lifts up. And something to also take note will be the landscape treatments. Back then, a lot of new trees, but 5-7 years later, all matured. So for all the developments surrounding the lake, they had the benefit of having that direct connection to the lake, and they also did some amphitheater thing where it's great for events. And we have this used to be my very old sales gallery, now turned into an exhibition hall space due to its amazing architecture that is so organic, right, to reflect the entire nature element. It's one of the very popular venues for weddings. Right next to Emerald Lake, there's another smaller lake, and today weather is amazing and the color is also amazing. So this is the one that is adjacent to Sunway International School, and you can just imagine that if your kid really were to study here, air is definitely fresher. No traffic noise at all. The only sound that we can hear right now is children playing basketball and some cheering classroom noise, and that's about it. And you can just look at this scene. Wow. And right next to that, then this will be Sunway Emerald Lakeside Home. So here then demonstrates two methods to kind of activate a particular township. First is to have a very beautiful catalyst or a magnet to draw people from other places into the particular location. So that would be the Emerald Lake, where people will come here and just cycle, hang out. That's sooner or later people will understand and really feel the site from within. The second one will be cater for a gap within the market itself, which is an international school within this proximity of location. Well, this kind of applies to only them because of their brand. So their brand, they have the retail, they have properties, they have education, they have medical center and all. And they have been doing this not only for KL, they have been doing this for Sunway City, Ipoh, and now they just duplicate whatever they learn from other townships and adapt to the context of this location. After all the beautiful sightseeing, let's go to numbers, right? So Citrine Studio units right now, the rent is going for around 1,008. So you have 2 to 3 bedrooms, ones are renting for 2003 to 2005. Then for the landed houses, the Citrine Lake homes, those are rented out at 3,000 plus to 4,000. And just when we think that this is so far away for a person who is not familiar with the location, right? Who actually come here to live? I gathered some information, most of them are expats, but expats from other countries mainly come here for education. So they come here to send their kids to the international school. So then for the local expats like KL people or Penang people that comes here and stay, right, they choose to stay here. And that's one thing that's very different from a KL mindset, right? Distance here does not necessarily reflect time. Like when we talk about KL, with 7 km or 10 km away, it can take us like an hour, right? From Puchong to Puchong, one end to another, it takes around an hour. But here, it's different because the land size is still very, very big for its population currently. So this side, traffic congestion almost never happen. And that's one of the benefits here, because just now from the airport coming in here, right, it takes around 18 minutes only. So after going through the entire precinct of Lakeview, which is like almost completed already, right? We also have the Sunway Boulevard where there's a shop offices, but we'll go and grab lunch later to kind of gauge the crowd. Now moving over to the commercial side. For an empty land, to get in petrol stations, to get in foreign brands and franchises, that was a great challenge. So it needs a lot of data, it needs a lot of collaboration and convincing to make them believe in the vision. So that took a very, very long time. Here we have Caltex, we have Starbucks, KFC at the end. Just when a lot of people will think that, hey, why this area is so empty? But in such a short span of walking distance, we have already 2 Starbucks. One is built in, one is a drive-through. Amazing, right? And this is right next to Sunway Big Box. They also built an office, they also built a hotel as well. We'll go and check it out. So this is where the commercial hub is. So a lot of people will pump their petrol here right before they get into Singapore via the second link. Then part of a great township design lies within the details as well. So if you look from the main road, there will be a buffer of landscape for safety. Then there will be a minimum width for pedestrian, either for bicycle or as a walkway. Then you will have the tactile for those who require it, and there will be connection all the time. So from face to face, connectivity is almost 100% included within the design, and that's purely because the entire master plan belongs to one party. So they need to really ensure there will be connectivity within the whole township, from precinct to precinct, from plot of land to plot of land, from components to components. It's things like this that becomes the differentiating factor. Right after international brand starts coming in, the team decided to build up the entire fringe of the frontage of the entire Zone F. For some context, Iskandar Puteri was divided into Zone A to Zone F. And Zone F is this last piece of land here. And what's unique about it, it's one of that very rare township where infrastructures are already in place before developers all starts coming in. And this particular group had Zone F, where it enjoys the seafront but they also acquired the other side, and it's amazingly beautiful. Looking at Sunway City in KL itself, you have an amazing township built around an ex-mining land, so turning into a wasteland into a wonderland, as they always say. Again, this principle is demonstrated in Sunway City, Ipoh, where they have a site that is so challenging in terms of topography. It was a limestone mountain that has cave within, then you also have hot spring within. How do you then develop a township without compromising the quality of nature, without compromising socio-economics and etc.? Once again, they did it. In fact, they even got awards for their hotel that is nestled within nature itself, called Banjaran, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were to continue Banjaran series within this area itself lah. But here there's a different twist, because they have this entire mangrove river that is really well protected. Right in front we have SJKC Chia Fa, a primary school for the local community, and it's a personal donation named after the father of the founder for this company. So cool, and he has always been giving to the community via education. What's cool is whatever facilities within this government school is on par with the international school just now. That's why a lot of neighbouring residential projects, they actually send in their kids to this school, because within close proximity, this is one of the very rare Chinese primary school around. One street away, then we are within that big box. It consists of a mall, it consists of a corporate tower called Wisma Sunway. Then we have a Sunway hotel here. And the room rates right now, it started with 200 plus, but now it's going for 300 a night. Of course, it's seasonal. But what's amazing is when you think within Puteri Harbour site, a lot of hotel actually closed down. That indirectly created a lot of demand for a hotel space like this. That's why during the weekends, there are actually a lot of people. Again, this is one of the business unit within the group itself that's doing extremely well. Next to that will be the corporate office. Now we have NEC, we have IRDA, which is one of the local authorities. IRDA stands for Iskandar Region Development Authority, something like that. And all of them will be moving into the corporate office here, and I can really see why. Because when you move a particular company into a new building, what's the main thing to consider about will be accessibility. The second thing will be convenience. If my team are located here, where do they eat? Where do they hang out? Where do they get resources? Where do they discuss about things? All these are extremely important, and within Iskandar Puteri itself, no doubt Zone F is one of the most matured ones. But one thing to highlight again, one of the skill sets you need to have as a township developer when you have such a big canvas, right? Forecasting ability on where your future launches is going to be. So after the completion of the commercial aspect of things, then they switch back to living again. There are going to be new phases called Sunway Maple and Sunway Aviana that's coming up really soon within this precinct they call Park View. This should be the entrance for the entire township, and there will be a highway that cuts in from this side. Once you turn in, you will have these two significant towers in front. In my opinion, it really made a statement. It looks so different compared to my last visit. Another element to highlight will be connectivity elements. If pedestrian is possible, they will do pedestrian. If elevated connections is possible, they will also build it. Many may think like, what's the current state right now? It's not even that populated. Why hurry in putting out more costs when you don't need it? Well, priorities are really different within this township itself, so you can really see safety elements are being sorted out, connectivity, convenience. Now they are focusing on living, and we will move on to nature after touring around the mall. I see NSK Hypermarket, that's very cool. We see Sports Direct. So the scale of big box is actually big. That's why they call it big box. So it's divided into west and east. On the west right now is closer to NSK. They will also have Anytime Fitness. You have SSF, you will have Ace Hardware, and one particular restaurant called Long Xing. So Long Xing restaurant is one of the favorite hotspot for Chinese Johorians to get married. Like in the banquet style. On the other side, then we have the more enclosed spaces. Here we have Kenny Rogers, the chicken rice shop. Then you have boutique cafes here and there. Sorella Maxis is here. Burger King is here. Guardian is here. Absolute Thai is here. Happy Fish is here, a place where kids learn swimming. And we also noticed that GSC is here and they introduced a play park. One of the first cinema to have a play elements for kids inside. And that's the current theme for the entire mall, where they are really focusing on families with children. If they study here, they play here, they live here, they have tuition centers around here, they can grow up here already. And the only debate is the frequency to go in Singapore just because it's too near. Coming out from Big Box now, we decided to grab lunch within Sunway Boulevard area, where there's like 88 units of stratified commercial space. So you will have offices, you will have retails at the bottom. This will be the main street of the entire development. Surprisingly, if you can see now, the car park within this row is actually full because there's a kopitiam here. So this stretch seems prosperous. Here we can see a lot of China hotpot, mama, Western food and local cuisines. Okay, but right opposite you have a brand new football field. Again, this is within that strategy of allocating futures launches and making use of lands that are not within the planning to kind of create catalysts for people to hang out in. Because when the canvas is so big, right, it's pretty much impossible to develop all at once, and even if you can develop, it's pretty impossible for the market to absorb everything. Therefore, you have these kind of areas where we will check out more later, and this particular element within a place making ability is very, very crucial. I seriously didn't expect double parking within Sunway Boulevard itself. Crazy. So now it's lunchtime, and what I noticed is this very last stretch, right? It's like Mont Kiara Hatamas area. Because you can look into the signboards, right? Most of them are Korean. Right now what's happening is that you have a transition of kids going through bus into another location, and these are like summer breaks for the kids, and it's somewhat like a student exchange program where they come here for 3 months to kind of learn language, learn how to play golf in this extremely hot weather. But wow, you look at it, surprised! I am very, very surprised. And it's so obvious until you have a Pasar Raya that has a Korean word on it. 韩国超市, meaning it's like a Korean supermarket. Wow! And just walking around listening to the parents having communications with the kids, right? It really feels like Korea, like all Korean speaking annyeong, annyeong. But the vibe here is very surprising. Even the cafes are packed with Korean parents. What a phenomenon. After that very interesting observation of Korean expats living within, creating their own little community here, there's also another segment of audience that this township is attracting actually. So now we have X Park, and this is one of the main entertainment elements for weekends for our friends who live in Singapore. They come here via Jurong, and here when you drive to Jurong, it only takes around 5 to 7 minutes to reach the custom. Insanely close, and that results in a very high performing short-term stay rent for Sunway Grid, which is the yellow building right there. The Airbnb returns a month is around 2004 to 2006, and it's extremely great news to the entire team. So when Sunway Hotel is fully packed for the weekend, people go for short-term stay there because that's a commercial title project. So coming back to X Park, going back to the driving range and Big Box, this is a perfect 1 night 2 day trip for our Singaporean friends. Just come in here, play some extreme sports here, have some team buildings here, do some shopping, watch some movies, chill around the park, go eat a lot of seafood, then sleep over. The next day then you can go back. So what you can hear right now is that's also a perfect venue for team building because it's secluded, and this address is very accessible if you come from the airport as well. So that's one of the benefit. Again, this is one of the strategies that we spoke just now to forecast which land can be used temporarily while the township grows over to this side. So this is one of the future as it's approaching more to the west side of the entire township, and it's amazing to see the entire transformation from fully completed, semi-completed, in planning, and what they have in forecast. So besides go-karting, you have the futsal courts, you have a place to hang out and chill, to watch football match together, you have a zone for you to do some glamping, and these are the boundaries to ensure that your surrounding is protected. Like if not, you will have wild boars or wild animals around, right? Then you also have paintball. In collaboration with one of the restaurant vendors, there's this thing called hot pot on a boat. It means that you actually get to enjoy hot pot together with your friends on a boat. Very cool. So this is what they call steamboat on a boat. It's gonna be so cool, right? When a group of friends together just come and hang out here. Then you can just float in the center of the lake in your own privacy and you just chill. And you will have some swan boats. And I think this is a zip line for team building. Very exciting. And all this is just a very solid weekend plan with your friends. From KL also can, from Singapore also can, right? Just come here, spend a day here, then go shopping, experience JPO a little bit, the total JB holiday experience. And I think there's something more that they just introduced. So now we are in one of their latest yet to announce facilities called the X Park or Horse Park, I don't know how you call it, but basically it's a facility that provides a few services. One is when you get to bring your children to kind of ride horses. The other one is for horses to go through hydrotherapy. So for horses to come here and go through rehab. Then you also have equestrian training where people are training how to ride the horse and etc. And it's located right next to the mangrove area. And when you look at the drone shot, it's just amazing. So just when you thought that the entire township is very well built, easily there's going to be another 4 more journeys to go through before Sunway City, Iskandar, Puteri is going to be developed entirely. That pretty much sums up the entire update. And because usually for township review I do not do take 3 on 3, but let's just make a conclusion. Personally, I am surprised with the progress because just when you think that the market stopped behind the scenes, they didn't. And this is that perfect scenario where no projects were doing well in Johor due to the stigma of how the market collapsed in southern region. That leads to construction costs being a little bit more affordable, and what they did, the team decided to leverage on that and build all investment properties like the corporate office, like the mall, the hotel, and etc. So they fully leverage on that, and now when the market is kind of recovering, going back to the new norm, the township is ready to welcome everyone. So now when you look into the crowd from the school, from the office, from the commercial area, in comparison to KL, of course, you don't have that amount of population on a Friday like this. But compared to my expectation, it has been doing very, very well. And now we are back in Sunway Citrine. This is one of their strongest benefit is you get to look at their completed project and somewhat estimate the build quality that you will get for the future, and it's only going to get better because they learn from whatever they go through here. And when you look into the entire canvas of the township, there's so much more to be done, and they are constantly innovating, coming out with new stuff like the horse park, the X Park. And what's in plan as well, you have Sunway College that's coming up very soon, and it's going to combine with a medical school and nursing school. Then you have the latest Parkview products that is coming into the market. Now when you think that is the market still very bad, a 20 by 70 landed terrace house in a stratified format starting from 750 to 800,000. The current rental for the homes here is around 3,000. Wow, not bad eh. And I guess that's all for today. Let me try to persuade my ex-colleague to let me see their latest review, because they're going to launch that really soon. Definitely feel very good to come back to the location where I learned almost everything that I know professionally. And shout out to the team for showing me around. It's so good to see every one of you. And if you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Is this going to be the comeback of Johor? Don't know. Let's see, right? See you guys on the next one. Ciao.